This summer I was in Sweden with my husband Lars, who is Swedish. I decided to do a ride starting in Småland in southern Sweden, which is where he's from.
So quiet. It's like meditation. Just wind along the road.
This part of Sweden, Småland, is all about lakes and forests and tiny farms. Nothing much grows here, so people had to really battle to make a living. My husband's mum was from Småland. She grew up on a small farm. But his dad comes from a different region of Sweden, further to the north. We have quite a lot of photos of his father's family. I had been digging in the records and I wanted to go to the places where my husband's family had lived to get a feeling about who my husband's family really is. So I was heading up to the places where they used to live. The ride was going to be about 200 miles and I was going to do it slowly over 5 days or so, wild camping all the way.
Well, it's Saturday morning and I'm sitting all alone at this absolutely fantastic bathing spot. Last night I really didn't know if this would work out because sometimes you're not allowed to camp at these bathing spots, but it worked perfectly. Some people did come, but they were really nice and gave me a sausage, so that was very nice. Some kids, well, a mother and some kids, really nice people.
Now I was in northern Småland and I was getting close to the region that my husband's dad's family had originally come from, Östergötland.
Brilliant! Oh, you are superstars!
I came to Vimmerby. It's where Astrid Lindgren came from, who wrote Pippi Longstocking. It's a really sweet little town.
So, it's Saturday afternoon now and it's really hot. Whew.
And I came to Östergötland.
This is
the county where Lars's great grandmother came from. Her name was Maya Stina. Stina's like Christina, Stina. I had decided to follow the story of Maya Stina, my husband's granny, 5 generations back. She was born in 1784, daughter of a farming couple from Östergötland. It's a bit more hilly here, bigger fields, and it feels richer. But before I would reach Maya Stina's village, I had a little way to go and one more camp night. So it's 5:30 or something like that, and the next thing is to find a camping spot. So I've just loaded up with water. I've got 4 litres in a bag. I saw that there were a couple of possible spots just on some promontories here that stick out into Lake Åsunden. So they're down quite long tracks, which is always a bit dicey because if it doesn't work out, you've got a long way to head back. But I've got 2 options. Exciting! So this is the first place, and it's completely not worked at all. The lake is down there, but there's just no access. And the track is really gravelly, so I'm sliding all over. So anyway, back up the hill and then try the second camping spot. Okay, so the second place didn't work out either because there's sheep. But a nice man gave me some tips, so I'm going to go and try another spot. So I talked to the farmer and he said it's all animals. It's sheep over there, as you could see, and then through that gate it's cows. But never mind, he recommended here. Right, so I've even got a dustbin. Ta-da! So the third plant also hasn't worked. Oh god, because I can't get the pegs in. It's just gravel. So I'm going to try going through the gate, see what happens. Right, this is about my 5th. This is about my 5th attempt. Try here, see if the pegs will go in. Oh god. Hooray! Finally found a nice spot, actually. Got to rush that. It's getting a bit. It's getting a bit anxious. Not really. I think it'll be great. It's soft. because it's like mossy stuff. The pegs don't go in very well. I've had to put them like at an angle. I think they're fine. Yay! Everything's sorted out. Done! So super easy tonight. It is mackerel in tomato sauce with mashed potato. And it took like 3 minutes. Thank God.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I slept really well actually, much better than I expected. I thought I would be kept awake by all the flies because they get in between the tent, inner and outer, and just like buzz. But I was fine. Wow, well that worked out so much better than I thought. You just have to be patient. Off we go.
I decided to take a short cut along a path. Sort of a path. Oh God, that was a lot more difficult than I thought. Oh dear. Really, it's really hot. Woo. and I came to the village where in the 1800s Majestina lived most of her life.
So, after they got married, so this is 1801, Majestina and her husband Tiers came here. And there's pretty much nothing left of the village.
When Majestina came here aged 17, there were about 100 people in the village, including nearly 40 children. Over the 62 years that she lived here, the village grew a lot, mainly because there were copper mines here, and through the mid-1800s the local town was a kind of industrial boom town. Majestina and her husband were farmers here, and as the town grew, they did really well. Because in Sweden, when someone dies, they make a massive list of all the things they owned. We can see exactly what it was like in Majestina's home here. She had a wall clock, a bureau, 2 dressers, 2 sofas, 2 large mirrors, 2 brass candlesticks, 15 brass dessert spoons, 5 brandy glasses, 4 beer glasses, 3 dozen porcelain plates, and a porcelain jug for cream, 8 copper cauldrons in the kitchen, 4 spinning wheels and a loom for making ribbons, a pair of silver shoe buckles, a rattan walking stick, and 2 pairs of spectacles. Majestina's eldest son was called Anders, and it's Anders who is Lars' ancestor.
And Anders actually didn't do very well. Anders went up to a farm called... His father, Tiers, owned half of it and then actually bought out the other guy and owned the whole of it. And so Anders had a farm to run with his wife, Johanna she was called. But somehow they never seemed to get things together. They were in debt, they were having trouble with their staff. They had farm workers who were hauled in front of the church courts for being drunken and disorderly. Somebody died in the lake. One of their staff died in the lake, again being drunk. Poor Johanna, she smothered one of her children and killed the baby by accident. And so it just seems like loads of things were not going very well. Eventually they had to give up the farm, and at one point he and his whole family were destitute. They were literally thrown out. So they were in a terrible state. Anyway, in the end, they went and found a little croft. I'm going to go and see if I can find it. Lars and I have been there once. It's quite difficult to find. Got this right. Should be a track on the left now. I didn't think it was this far. It's here.
What the next bit?
It was here. You can see the wall there.
So this was where Majestina's eldest son had ended up. It was evening now, and I needed to find a place to camp. So I clambered up to see if I could find a spot overlooking a lake nearby.
That was quite hard. Goodbye, lovely spot.
This little camping spot was here, and actually Myastina's childhood village, Ed, like ED, Ed, was only a few hundred metres away.
So, Myastina was born in a village that used to be and it has completely disappeared. And she was there. There was 8 families, but from 1800, when she left the village actually, aged 17, down to 1950-ish, the place just dwindled and dwindled until it faded out. I'm gonna go. Oh my god, it's here. What's this? Oh my gosh. Wow. So the houses were here on this area, and you can tell that because there are cherry trees, and it shows that people lived here. And in fact, on the far side there are the footings of 3 buildings, which are probably a barn, I think. Myastina was born here. Her parents were farmers. Their names were Mons and Annika. When she was 9, her mother died of malaria, which was apparently still quite common here at the time.
In the documents drawn up after Myastina's mother died, I found a little note that I hope gave Myastina comfort when she read it later in life. Apparently, girls inherited half as much as boys at the time. But when she was dying, her mother said that she wanted Myastina to receive exactly the same as her brothers. So I had ridden 150 miles from my husband's place up to where his father's ancestors came from. And now I was going to ride 50 miles more because there was one more place that I wanted to find.
I'm on a gravel track here. I wish it was no expense. Quite a big road on the map. But oh, God. Really windy today. It's going to be hot and windy. It's going to be rain later. That was the last campsite. It's only a few kilometres now into Norrköping.
There was one place in Norrköping that I really wanted to see. It was called Gryt. This is where Maja-Stina's eldest daughter ended up. She married a spinner, a chap from the village actually, called Petter, who had gone to the big city as an apprentice wool spinner. The textile industry was kicking off. It was like 1820 something. Petter worked here and became a master spinner. The buildings have all changed since he was here, but it feels like some things haven't changed at all.
When Petter and Maja-Stina's daughter came here, they lived, obviously not in that block, but they lived in that quarter, so it's divided into kvarter. They lived in that one, it's called Löken. I didn't realise it. I mean, look, it's just right up to the water. It's fantastic here. In about 1828, the family, so that's Petter, Maja-Stina's daughter, they had one child. One child had died, they had one that was living. They moved from Röken through there to Constantinople, which is actually that block there. And they had another child there. So they had this to go past on the way to work. Oh God, how amazing!
So that was the end of the journey, and I headed back by train to Småland and to Lars.